Traditional Chinese mythology holds that Pangu was the first living being and the creator of the world. He is described as a giant who emerged from chaos, which initially took the form of a cosmic egg. In one version of the myth, Pangu played an active role in shaping the world. Using his understanding of yin and yang, he separated the earth from the sky, positioned the sun, moon, and stars, divided the seas, and sculpted the mountains and valleys. Another version suggests that the world came into existence after Pangu's death. In this account, Pangu emerged from the cosmic egg and spent 18,000 years holding up the sky to prevent it from collapsing onto the earth. Eventually, he died from exhaustion, and his body transformed into various elements of the natural world, including rivers, mountains, plants, and animals. One of these beings was Huashu, who conceived and gave birth to twins after stepping on the footprint of the thunder god, Fuxi and Nüwa. Along with Shennong, these three are known as the three divine sovereigns. Taoist myths and parables, often incorporating shamanistic themes, were influenced by Tungu's shaman folklore. The earliest stories about Fuxi, Nüwa, and Shennong as the three sovereigns likely originated from this mythological tradition. The three divine sovereigns and 5 August emperors were legendary rulers and sages of ancient China, predating the Xia dynasty, the earliest dynasty recognized as historically true. The three sovereigns were god-kings or demigods who used their powers to aid in the creation of humanity and to teach essential skills and knowledge. The 5 August emperors, revered for their exemplary moral character, are said to have lived during a golden age when they act as mediators between humans and celestial forces. Known for their exceptional virtue, they were believed to have ruled long and peaceful reigns. This period followed an abdication system until Qi of Xia seized power by force and established a hereditary monarchy. In this video, I will focus on the three divine sovereigns, with a subsequent video dedicated to the 5 August emperors. According to the classic of mountains and seas, Fuxi and Nüwa were the original humans, born in the lower middle reaches of the Yellow River in a place called Qingji, possibly located in modern-day Lantian, Shaanxi, or Tianshui, Gansu. They later resided on the mythological Kunlun mountain. Both are depicted as hybrid beings, with human upper bodies and the tails of snakes. They may be shown either as individual figures arranged symmetrically or as a double figure with intertwined serpent-like bodies. Often, they are portrayed holding or embracing sun or moon discs, which feature symbols such as a bird, or a three-legged crow, for the sun and a toad, or sometimes a hare, for the moon. Alternatively, they may be shown holding a tri-square, a pair of compasses, or a longevity mushroom, lingji. Some versions of the myth describe them as the first humans, while others portray them as the sole survivors of a great flood. In either case, they find themselves on the mythical Kunlun mountains and seek guidance from heaven on whether they should marry and repopulate the earth, given their dilemma as siblings. To determine heaven's will, they turn to divination. In one version of the tale, each climbs a separate mountain and lights a fire. They agree that if the smoke rises straight up, their union is not approved. However, if the smoke intertwines, it signifies divine approval. When the smoke merges, they take it as a sign to wed. To shield their faces during intimacy, they craft a fan from grass, an act that later became the origin of the Chinese custom of couples holding a fan during their wedding. Their union symbolizes the balance of yin and yang, with Fuxi representing yang and masculinity, while Nüwa embodies yin and femininity. Fuxi is given a carpenter's square, a symbol of his connection to the physical world, as it represents straight lines and structure. Nüwa, on the other hand, is given a compass, representing her connection to the heavens, as compasses symbolize curves, circles, and abstract complexity. Their association with the compass and square, tools commonly used by architects, may further symbolize their role as creators of human society. Nüwa was responsible for creating the first human beings. Feeling lonely, she decided to shape living creatures from mud to keep her company. In one version of the tale, she created a different type of animal on each of the first 6 days: the chicken, dog, boar, sheep, cow, and horse. On the 7th day, she formed human beings. This myth serves as the origin of Human Day, which is observed on the 7th day of the Chinese New Year. Nüwa's creation of humanity also serves as an explanation, and perhaps a justification, for the social hierarchy in Chinese society. In one variation of the myth, she initially crafted human figures by hand from clay. However, as time passed, her hands grew sore. To speed up the process, she rolled a stalk of sugarcane through the mud and flicked it, causing drops of earth to scatter. Each drop transformed into a man or woman. The carefully sculpted figures became the nobility, while the hastily formed blobs became the common people. Once enough humans had been created, Nüwa introduced marriage, ensuring they could multiply and sustain their existence without further divine intervention. In another account, she and Fuxi had a child in the form of a lump of flesh. They cut it into pieces and scattered them across the world, giving rise to the human race. Several generations after humanity's creation, Nüwa also saved it from destruction. The catastrophe began when the fire god, Shennong, clashed with the water god, Gonggang. Their battle raged fiercely, but in the end, Gonggang was defeated. Enraged by his loss, he smashed his head against Mount Buzhou, a mythical peak that served as one of the 4 pillars supporting the heavens. The impact caused the mountain to collapse, tearing open the sky and causing half of it to fall to the earth. This calamity led to earthquakes, floods, wildfires, and the emergence of ferocious creatures, resulting in widespread devastation and loss of life. The world's destruction seemed imminent. Witnessing the suffering of her creations, Nüwa took immediate action to save them. She gathered 5 colored stones, red, yellow, blue, black, and white, melted them, and used the molten mixture to repair the sky. She then sought the help of Ao, the sky turtle, who allowed her to cut off its 4 legs. These legs were used to replace the pillar destroyed by Gonggang. Nüwa also hunted and killed a black dragon, driving away the creatures that had risen from the earth and preventing them from attacking humans further. Finally, she burned a large quantity of reeds and used the ashes to halt the flooding. The 5 colored stones represent the 5 Chinese elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, while the black dragon, associated with water, was the cause of the floods. In one version of the myth, the immense effort drained her strength, and after resting, Nüwa passed away from exhaustion. In another version, realizing she lacked enough stones to fully repair the sky, she sacrificed herself by filling the remaining gap with her own body. Thanks to Nüwa's intervention and sacrifice, the world was saved, and humanity was able to live in peace once again. Interestingly, the myth also provides an explanation for an unusual natural phenomenon: the fact that China's rivers flow from west to east. Despite Nüwa's efforts to restore the earth and sky to their original alignment, she was unable to perfectly reorient them. As a result, the earth and sky are now tilted in opposite directions. This is said to explain why China's rivers flow from west to east, while the sun, moon, and stars move from east to west. Though Nüwa passed away after repairing the sky, she continues to be revered as a deity watching over Chinese civilization. Nüwa appears in the famous Ming Dynasty novel Fengshen Bang, Creation of the Gods, where her encounter with King Zhou of the Shang dynasty serves as a crucial catalyst for the subsequent wars between the gods. After the Shang dynasty was established, Nüwa created 5 colored stones to safeguard the kingdom, bringing seasonal rains and other beneficial qualities. Over time, Shang Rong, a loyal minister, urged King Zhou of Shang to visit Nüwa's temple as a sign of deep respect. Upon meeting her, King Zhou was overtaken by lust at the sight of the beautiful goddess, who was seated behind a light curtain. Infatuated, he wrote an erotic poem on a nearby wall before leaving. When Nüwa discovered the indecent words left by the king, she was enraged. In her fury, she vowed that the Shang dynasty would fall as retribution for his transgression. Nüwa ascended to the palace to confront King Zhou, but she was repelled by 2 powerful beams of red light. Realizing that the king was fated to rule for 26 more years, she devised another plan. She summoned her 3 subordinates, the 1,000-year vixen, who would later become Daji, the jade pipa, and the 9-headed pheasant. She informed them of a new mandate of heaven and instructed them to enter King Zhou's palace and bewitch him, ultimately leading to the downfall of the Shang dynasty. As for Fuxi, though he played a lesser role in humanity's creation, he is credited with introducing numerous innovations that greatly improved human life. In ancient times, there was no moral or social order. When hungry, they searched for food; when full, they discarded the leftovers. They ate raw meat, drank blood, and wore animal skins and reeds. Observing the chaos, Fuxi looked to the heavens and studied the patterns in the sky. He examined the earth, united man and woman, regulated the 5 elements, and established the laws of humanity. Some scholars associate Fuxi with the biblical patriarch Enoch. Fuxi taught early humans essential survival skills, such as hunting, fishing, and domesticating animals. However, when he introduced fishing, the Dragon King, ruler of the ocean, grew furious. He feared that widespread fishing would deplete his subjects, the fish. His prime minister, a wise tortoise, proposed a solution: confront Fuxi and forbid humans from catching fish with their hands. When Fuxi received the Dragon King's decree, he was disheartened and spent days searching for an alternative. One day, while resting under a tree, he noticed a spider weaving a web to catch insects. Inspired, he gathered wild reeds, wove them into a net, and cast it into the river. When he pulled it back, he was thrilled to see a large catch. Excited by his discovery, he immediately shared the new invention with his people, revolutionizing the way they fished. Fuxi is also credited with creating the I-Ching, based on his interpretation of the He2, Yellow River map. The arrangement of the 8 trigrams was revealed to him through markings on the back of a mythical dragon horse, sometimes depicted as a tortoise, that emerged from the Luo River. This arrangement predates the compilation of the I-Ching during the Zhou dynasty and is believed to be the origin of Chinese calligraphy. In addition to these contributions, Fuxi introduced numerous cultural advancements. He established the ancient Chinese marriage tradition, in which a young man would present his fiancée with 2 deer skins as an engagement gift. He also crafted musical instruments such as the guza, a 25-string plucked instrument, and the sun, an egg-shaped clay wind instrument with finger holes. Furthermore, he trained horses to pull carts and developed metal smelting techniques for creating tools and everyday objects. Fuxi is also credited with innovations in food preparation, including barbecuing meat and using mortars and pestles to grind grain. He introduced textile production by cultivating silkworms and weaving cloth, minted copper coins for trade, and devised a written language to record knowledge. Additionally, he established the calendar and laid the foundation for legal systems. He is believed to have died at the ripe old age of 197 years in Huaiyang County, located in the central Chinese province of Hunan, where his tomb has existed since the spring and autumn period. Surrounding the tomb is a large compound, with buildings and plants arranged according to the 8 trigrams. In 1996, the site was included in China's State Council Folk Culture Legacy Protection Program. Shennong, often translated as Divine Farmer or Divine Husbandman, and born Jiang Xinian, is known as the first Yan Emperor and was later deified in both Chinese and Vietnamese folk traditions. He is revered as the patron deity of farmers, rice traders, and practitioners of traditional Chinese medicine. Numerous temples and sites dedicated to his worship can be found across China. Shennong is also linked to several geographic locations, such as Shennongjia in Hubei, where it is believed that the rattan ladder he used to climb the mountains transformed into a vast forest. The Shennong stream flows from this region into the Yangtze River. He is credited with teaching the ancient Chinese essential agricultural practices and the use of herbal medicine. Before Shennong's time, people were weak, impoverished, diseased, and suffering. Through extensive research, he taught them agriculture, experimenting with hundreds of plants and reportedly consuming 70 poisons in a single day. According to legend, Shennong had a transparent body, which allowed him to observe the effects of plants and herbs on himself. He is also credited with discovering tea, which he found to counteract the toxic effects of some of the herbs he tested. Tradition holds that Shennong first tasted tea around 2437 BC when tea leaves, blown from burning twigs by hot air, landed in his cauldron of boiling water. Unfortunately, Shennong ultimately died from his botanical experiments when he consumed the yellow flower of a weed that ruptured his intestines before he could drink his antidotal tea. Despite his tragic fate, he is credited with refining medical practices such as pulse measurement, acupuncture, and moxibustion. The Divine Farmer's Herb Classic, Shennong Ben Jing, a text on agriculture and medicinal plants attributed to Shennong, is believed to be a compilation of oral traditions written between 200 and 250 AD. It is regarded as the earliest Chinese pharmacopoeia, listing 365 medicines derived from minerals, plants, and animals. Shennong is also associated with several key inventions, including the hoe, plow, and axe, as well as methods for digging wells, agricultural irrigation, and preserving seeds using boiled horse urine. He is said to have played a pivotal role in the development of trade, commerce, the concept of money, the weekly farmers' market, and the Chinese calendar, particularly its division into 24 solar terms, Jieqi. Additionally, Shennong is recognized as an ancestor or patriarch of the ancient Chinese people. He is said to have been the father of the Yellow Emperor, the first of the 5 August emperors.